Welcome back to Codex Tactics, where we get you the vital information you need to know to face a new detachment in 40k. Today's 10-minute battle brief, Bridgehead Strike, Codex Astra Militarum. Let's get to it. So the detachment playstyle is infantry heavy, deep striking, uppy downing, transport disembarking gunline. Post-balance data slate patch, this detachment doesn't hit quite as hard. Science went up in cost, which is the backbone of this detachment, but it still scores very well. They have enhancement abilities to deep strike turn 1. They can redeploy up to 3 units. They can go into strat reserves regardless of the number. They can turn off Overwatch for a bearer's unit. They have an ability with a strat to deep strike 6 inches away. They have an ability to go back into strat reserves with a strat. Infantry, specifically Tempestus, do trade up quite well in this detachment. The army rule is voice of command. Officer models with this ability can issue orders. It'll say on their data sheet how many orders and who they can issue them to. They're going to select one eligible friendly unit within 6 inches to issue the order to. They can issue them in the command phase or at the end of the phase in which they disembark from a transport or set up on the battlefield. Orders cannot be issued to battle shocked units, and if a unit being affected by an order becomes battle shocked, the order ceases to affect that unit. There's 6 orders as follows. They can add 3 inches to the move characteristic. They can improve the weapon skill characteristic of melee weapons by 1. They can improve the ballistic skill characteristic of ranged weapons by 1. They can improve the attacks characteristics of rapid fire weapons by 1. They can improve the save characteristics of models by 1. And then they can improve the leadership and OC of models by 1. Post data slate, the detachment rule now reads as follows. Each time an Astra Militarum infantry model from your army makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. Each time a Militarum Tempestus model from your army makes a ranged attack in a turn in which it was set up on the battlefield from reserves or disembarked from a transport, add 1 to the hit roll. If a Militarum Tempestus officer is the Warlord, Scions gain battle line and +1 OC when not battle shocked. They have enhancements for a Tempestus officer. Each time he issues an order, it contains a Voxmaster. He can issue that order up to 3 different regiment units. They have another enhancement for a Tempestus officer. The bearer's unit can be set up using the deep strike ability in the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase. They have another enhancement for a Tempestus officer. Enemy units cannot use the fire Overwatch strat to shoot at the bearer's unit. And finally, for an infantry officer, after both players have deployed, they can select up to 3 regiment units and redeploy them. These can be set up in strat reserves regardless of how many units are in strat reserves. Strats and abilities. For 1 command point, an Astra Militarum unit in reserves with the deep strike ability can be set up more than 6 inches away and cannot charge that turn. For 2 command points, 1 Tempestus or Kasrkin unit selected to shoot at an enemy unit within 12 inches, improve the AP and strength of hotshot weapons by 1. 1 command point, 1 Astra Militarum unit non-titanic can advance and shoot. 1 command point, 1 enemy unit hit by an Astra Militarum infantry unit after it is shot, that enemy cannot have cover. 1 command point, 1 Astra Militarum unit with a deep strike ability or 1 Valkyrie, remove it from the battlefield at the end of the opponent's fight phase and place it into strat reserves. Finally, 1 command point, 1 regiment unit within engagement range of an enemy unit, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within engagement range. On a 2-up, that unit suffers d6 mortal wounds, then your unit suffers 3d3 mortal wounds. Some of the key leader units that you'll see, the Militarum Tempestus Command Squad, this is 5 models, they're T3. They're going to lead Tempestus Scions. This unit can be affected up to 2 orders with a command rod. It can regen D3 models with a medipack. It issues 1 order to regiment units and grants sustain 1 for ranged weapons for that unit. It can have up to 4 special weapons, only 1 of each. They can have a flamer, melta, grenade launcher, plasma gun, and a hotshot volley gun. Cadian Castellan, we're going to grant sustain 1 to ranged weapons for the bearer's unit, can fall back and shoot, and issue 2 orders to regiment units. Typically, you're going to see this with Kasrkin. Creed, also typically with Kasrkin, this unit she's leading can be affected up to 2 orders at the same time, can issue up to 3 regiment units, and reduce the strat CP cost of a unit within 12 inches by 1. The key synergizing units, Tempestus Scions is still a detachment workhorse, can have various loadouts to perform specific roles. They're going to be 5 to 10 models, up to 15 if included with the command squad. They can become additional -1 to AP on hotshot weapons with a strat. They can gain ignores cover with a strat. Be rerolling wound rolls of 1 and full rerolls to wound when targeting enemy unit within range of an objective marker. With a full 10-man unit in command squad, they can have up to 8 special weapons and have up to 3 hotshot volley guns. That's be 15 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage max. They can have up to 3 of the following, up to 8 total. melta guns, flamers, grenade launchers, or plasma guns. They'll have up to 5 hotshot las guns. This would be 15 attacks, strength 4, AP2, 1 damage max. The Tempestor will likely have a pistol and a power fist, all with +1 to hit, likely hitting on a 2-up with an order, possibly rerolling all hits and wounds, +1 strength, and -1 AP with a strat. If you're shooting on an objective or disembarking from a Torox Prime, and then sustain 1 with a command squad. Tempestus Accolons. This is the 6-inch deep striking anti-infantry or chaff unit. They can deep strike 6.1 away in the controlling player's movement phase, and they cannot charge after precision drop. They can shoot the sentry weapon upon arrival from deep strike in whatever phase this happens. This will be a grenade launcher or hotshot volley gun, so it can be up to 9 attacks, strength 5, AP2, 1 damage, or a flamer, D6 plus 3 attacks, strength 4, 0 AP, 1 damage. They have up to 1 melta gun, 1 hotshot long las, which is a 3 damage las gun, and they're going to have up to 8 hotshot las carbines, so a max of 16 attacks, strength 4, AP2, 1 damage. So again, they can access to ignore's cover with a strat, possibly hitting on a 2-up with an order, be rolling 1s to hit, as well as generally having +1 to hit. Kasrkin, they have Scout 6. They can be slapped with up to 2 orders or 3 if led by Creed, and 1 chosen order doesn't need to be issued by an officer. They can be additional -1 AP with hotshot weapons with a strat. They can gain ignore's cover with a strat. Up to 4 hotshot volley guns. That's be 20 attacks, strength 5, AP2, 1 damage, or they can have up to 4 melta guns, flamers, or grenade launchers. They can only have 2 of each of those. They'll have up to 6 hotshot las guns. That's up to 18 attacks, strength 4, AP2, 1 damage, and the sergeant will likely have a power weapon. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, they can use a melta mine. Enemy unit within 3 inches is going to suffer D3 mortals, or vehicles 2 D3 mortals. Creed Combat Engineers, they got nerfed a little bit. They can only use their ability now once per battle, and it has to be a visible unit. Infiltrating and scouting units in general can help with giving space for deep striking units in this detachment. Also, the Aegis Defense Line is kind of a tech choice. It can give cover to infantry as well as a 4-up invuln. This can be powerful in an army that is made up mostly of infantry. Transports in this detachment, keep in mind the Torox. This transports 12 infantry, and they can disembark after it is advanced. The Chimera has Firing Deck 2, and the Valkyrie, Flyer with Hover. Units can disembark at the end of the opponent's movement phase with this strat. So what does win path against this now look like? Still don't stand out on objectives for Tempestus Scions to possibly gain full rerolls to hit if disembarking from a Torox, full rerolls to wound, as well as +1 strength additional AP against you. Deep strike denial and screens zone out 6 inches. Blast weapons, indirect fire, anti-infantry range weapons, torrents weapons for Overwatch. Accolons can now only deep strike 6.1 away in the controlling player's own movement phase. Lone ops behind screens for objective grabbing can be helpful. Execution-wise, abilities to increase strat costs. Destroy transports to help mitigate their damage-dealing ability. Focus on the Tempestus Scions. The damage-dealing ability has gone down quite significantly. They still get full rerolls to wound, and with strat support, they can trade up pretty well. Save your CP for Overwatch if you have good access to it. Tempestus Command Squad can have only 1 enhancement ability to drop in turn 1. Be patient. Think about your screening with every movement. Use charge, pylon mechanics, and combat to tie things up as well as to keep your screens intact. The +1 to wound ability has gone away, but don't underestimate the ability of Scions to trade up. Remember this, and you should do well. Good luck.